Parenting is hard. You think of your own childhood and the moments that went wrong and caused your traumas that you had to work out later in your own life. And then you realize you have this person in front of you, just the foundations of a nervous system, ready to grow and learn, who is forming their understanding of the world right here, right now. And if you fuck up too bad, there's going to be a day 3 decades later with a guy they're paying $100 an hour to talk to, where they tell them how when they were 4 years old, you took away an ice pop, and it was from that moment on, they realized they could never be loved. It's terrifying. You know you have to be there, no matter what. What exactly you do while you're there isn't always clear, but you have to be there. You worry about everything. Do I hug my kids enough? Do I hug them too much? The information's always changing. One day, you'll be watching the news and learn, yeah, you can hug your kids, that's fine. But you can't give your kids hugs and kisses, or you're basically dooming them to a life of crime and mental illness. Ideally, you would have a checklist of things kids need for their development, and a computer would raise your children and give them all the correct allotments of affection, guidance, and structure. Instead, it's you. You fucked up installing a microwave, and it literally came with a sheet of paper that you were supposed to tape to the wall, and it told you where to drill the holes. You got it done, but it took 3 days, your buddy, your girlfriend, a 6-pack of Miller Lite, and 1 argument to get it done. This is infinitely more complex, and you're only getting stupider as you get older. But if you fuck this up, your child will hate you forever. It can feel overwhelming, and you look to other people who have raised their kids and didn't fuck it up for advice, and they say goofy shit to you like,
try to have fun.
And,
really enjoy them at this age.
it's hard being a dad. Motherhood isn't a picnic either, but if you're a mom, you at least have 9 months of your body changing, a small person wiggling around inside of you. And as your kidneys get kicked like soccer balls and someone does the polka on your bladder, you realize they're coming. As you go into labor, your body spikes with chemicals that, in addition to involuntary muscle contractions that make you feel like you're being split in half, you feel this incredible love and affection. And this thing you felt growing inside of you comes out and you see it, and there's this instant bond. There's got to be like some sort of instinct on the X chromosome that when it's activated, women become moms. As a guy, you married your best friend, and then she's your wife, and then your wife has a big belly, and then one day she screams for a few hours, and the next thing you know, you have an infant who screams for even more hours. Dudes barely know how to cover their own life needs. I feel like if it wasn't for sex, many men wouldn't actually have a bed or even live in a house. They would just have a pile of clothes and walk 3 times in a circle and collapse before sleeping in whatever clothes they were wearing. You take someone who has barely gotten dishes done, barely managed to distinguish between shampoo and toothpaste, and that guy then has to keep someone else alive. And this isn't a sexist argument to say that men are genetically incapable of figuring this type of thing out. No. But you look at other animals like elephants. Males are just kind of shunned off once they become adults. They're too big, too violent. And once a year, they either want to fight you or fuck you. And human men aren't that. Well, some dudes named Kyle are. Men can be nurturing. It's just not our natural inclination. A newborn baby has to eat every 2 hours. If the baby is sleeping and it's 2 hours since the last meal, you have to wake it up and feed it. And babies are so tiny that just feeding them makes them have to shit. And if you change them too quickly after they eat, they just puke everywhere. So you're in this constant chase of feeding, cleaning pee and poop, cleaning vomit. It's like when your roommate in college discovered binge drinking, but it's not just a Saturday night, it's every night. All of a sudden, your life is turned upside down. You can't sleep anymore. My wife was so anxious when the baby first showed up that she would hold the baby all day long, and the second she passed out, just out of sheer exhaustion, she would wake up in the middle of the night and freak out that the baby wasn't in her arms anymore. Imagine every time you hold your infant daughter, part of you thinks, "Don't kill it, stupid. Please don't kill it." And then you finally fall asleep, and then your wife wakes up at 3 a.m. and makes you think somebody kidnapped the baby. I was working in a job as a software analyst too at the time. I have no background in software analysis. I was way out of my league. Now, imagine you wake up 3 times a night and then go back to work the next day sleep deprived and afraid you're going to doom your family by losing your job because you have no idea what you're doing. It is traumatic. No one talks about it because it makes it sound like you're a bad parent if you say you went through a nasty depression when you became a parent because you didn't realize you would have to reconcile your old and new lives while not getting any sleep. And then you start to have this form of tantric sex where there's not just delayed climax. No. It becomes like modern jazz where, man, it's all about the sex you're not having. If you don't feel like you're adulting before you have a kid, you sure as hell do when you have a kid. There was this moment where my wife had gone back to work and her daughter was in daycare and got sick, as children do. And then she gave that cold to my wife and I, as children also do. My wife was working a night shift at the hospital, and I woke up and I did one of those vomits where as you retch, you involuntarily scream your insides into the toilet. And typically, I feel like the moment after a good vomit is a sacred space. You're dizzy and weak, and all you want to do is breathe those fevered, shivery breaths as you try to regain conscious control of your diaphragm muscles. And the cold bathroom floor feels just right against your cold, sweaty skin. And that night, I puked so hard, I woke up my daughter. So I couldn't just wallow in my suffering. There was parenting to do. I had to let her know if she was going to be okay. I had to be there.